Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently down 4.95% to 53,673. Ethereum down 5.91% to 4241. My mission is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. I focus on the institutional mindset. If that sounds good, please subscribe to YouTube. When you see red in the market, it's natural to feel fear and concern and worry. After being in financial markets for more than 3 decades, it's incredibly important to master your emotions. That's why I do the Real Wealth series. Episode 349, 10 Steps to Master Fear, could be really good to look at. Episode 319 is also really helpful, 10 Steps to Mental Toughness. As well as episode 317, Problem Solving Capabilities. It's really good to actually look at that particular episode. Inside our community, we're all about self-mastery. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. On days like today, when a big sell-off has occurred, you can feel the temptation to go all out. Life's internal battle is the real battle. Do you have a strategy? Do you know what to do? For example, have you made in advance probabilistic choices? We've seen Bitcoin come down in value. Many people were expecting an exponential rise in value. Now what we're seeing currently is a decrease in value. Could it be the start of something greater? Potentially. Or what happens if Bitcoin just rebounds? And why are we talking about Bitcoin? Many people just want to cuddle their beloved alts and say, oh, I just want to look at my particular alt. Bitcoin rules the market. That's rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Bitcoin literally has a gravity. Some alts can escape from time to time, but they're always pulled back eventually. We'll start a little bit differently today with Rule 28, opportunities reset daily. Just like in life, every day is a new day. It's a chance to begin again. On a day like today, it's really easy to worry, but worry increases problems. Actions solve problems, but worry increases them. We need to look around and see what's cooking in the market, what is going up right now. If we look at the top gainers in the last 24 hours, we can see Atom, Cosmos, is coming up to a level of resistance. We also see NIA breaking above its resistance, passing and bouncing from a level of support. Matic is doing really well. It's looking very strong. If you wanted to get into Matic or Luna, have a look at how Luna is going. It's going really well. Would you buy at market? Would you go all in? Absolutely not. We would never ever recommend strategies like that. Instead, the strategy would be, for example, if you wanted to get into Matic, you would want to buy at support levels down. Price naturally moves in a wave. It's always going up and coming down. You want to catch these down waves to accumulate. That is what we call buying like an institution. We can see Luna has just really shot up, and when things shot up, they always do a retracement. So we've got to be really careful about getting in and having the trade turn against us. To lower risk, to manage our risk, we always seek to buy at levels of support, natural levels where price can come down to when people take profit. Let's have a look at T-Fuel. T-Fuel is just about to break over resistance. We can see Ravencoin seeking to break over resistance. It's just been pushed down a little. Decred, DCR, is seeking to break out from resistance. And we can see another top gainer is actually USDC. USDC is a stable coin. What happens in bear markets and what happens when the market as a rule generally declines? There are a handful of opportunities that just shine. They're great to look for. That's why I put this up. I want to show you there's always opportunities in the market. Let's go the other way. What's getting hit the most? Gala is quite down. It's lost its support line. We can see Uni just coming down to support. Sol is rallying very, very strongly, coming back to a support level. Mana, Decentraland is just under support. We can see Basic Attention Token coming back to support. This is absolutely what happens. So many retail investors get swept up in the emotion and tend to buy these really sharp spikes only to have the price come back 50, 60%. And then they say, oh no, I got it wrong. I need to go all out. So they go all out and they go all in and they go all out at exactly the wrong times. This is really normal because people are always seeking certainty. Having an investor's skill and a trader's mindset is literally an unbeatable combination. You really want both. We can see BAT coming back into support, See a Coin coming back into support, 1 inch under resistance, and Sand coming back to support. I'd like to thank Rudy for sharing a quote from the Dalai Lama with me. We've got such a beautiful community, always sharing information between each other, and we are a real community. We don't tolerate scammers in the comments on our channel. We just delete them as quickly as possible. Rudy just pointed out a quote from the Dalai Lama. Someone may be very rich and powerful, but without any trusted friends, they will never be happy. Someone else may be poor, but if they're surrounded by trusting friends, they'll be happy. This goes to show what the important part of having meaning in life is. That's why as a community we focus on real wealth. Those different real wealth series that I popped out before are all about showing you how to do deeper dives on these little buckets. Real wealth is much more than money. Of course it includes money, but money by itself will not solve anything. In fact, it can create problems. Having integrity and decency, kindness, purpose and fearlessness, inner and outer peace, fulfillment and meaning, that's really, really important. Many people turn to crypto and say, I'm going to get a better life from crypto. And definitely it can do that, but you need the right mental attitude, and a focus on real wealth will give you the right attitude and give you a beautiful life at the same time. So many people focus on just accumulating money, but money without meaning is another form of poverty. It's really important to build your real wealth at all times. In the history of the world, there's never been anyone like you, and there never will be when you leave this planet. For that reason, you're incredibly worthy. You deserve kindness, love, meaning, and every success in life. You do not need to limit yourself, and you can ask for what you want. If you would like to have a look at episode 324, 10 Ways to Create Optimism, having a positive mental attitude is really critical in the crypto market. It's so incredibly volatile. Turning to Bitcoin's technical action, Bitcoin is currently trading at 53,771. It came all the way down to 51,700. Naughty Bitcoin. This is what Bitcoin does. That's why we always have in advance probabilistic choices made. What happens if Bitcoin comes down to 50,000, 40,000, 30,000? What would you do? If Bitcoin now rallies up to 70,000, 80,000, 90, 100,000, what will you do? If Bitcoin just goes sideways and gets so boring that you want to just poke it with a stick and say, come on, Bitcoin, do something, what will you do? Having those in advance probabilistic choices made ahead of time will help you sleep really well at night. Now, what are we looking at here? We had a support line that was holding quite well, and then we had a breach of that support. We're now under resistance. Is this the end of the world? Is Bitcoin going to go to zero? Absolutely not. Many people, when they obey strict technical analysis, they fall into all sorts of errors And I've seen this play out decade after decade. In financial markets, it's just the way it goes. You need to be really careful and use technical analysis as a guide. What we see here, we have very good support at 55,590, also at 49,305. There is a definite epic battle between the bulls and the bears at the moment. The bears want to take the market down. Why do they want to do that? Because they want to buy it back. The bears, well, they sell first and then they buy back later. And if there are enough sellers in the market, if everybody is selling, at one stage they'll have to buy back en masse when the price moves against them. And that's exactly what happens. And that's what sparks exponential rises in Bitcoin's price action and the action of crypto in general. It's really important to understand that nature. What do we expect that will happen now? Of course, we need to look into some specific drivers inside the market and get a better appreciation. The first thing we want to look at is Mt. Gox remediation. I covered this in depth in episode 332. We can see that the Mt. Gox reserves have not moved. They have not gone anywhere. So the recent sell-off in price has got nothing to do at all with Mt. Gox. What about the B11529 variant, Omicron? What is that doing? Let's have a look at a map of confirmed and probable cases. Confirmed cases throughout the world, 651. We've got a lot of probables being detected in South Africa at the moment. Denmark and Norway are also getting them. Israel. Omicron is definitely spreading throughout the world at the moment, but it is quite early days. There is still a lot to learn and know about Omicron, just how potentially problematic it is. There are a lot of variations occurring in the spike protein, and those variants could be a problem, but we really need more data at the moment. People are agreed that they just don't know enough just yet. A lot of policymakers believe that Omicron could drive inflation out of control. But what we see, and we focus on this every day, is from the 14th of November, inflation has actually been coming down, as witnessed by the 10-year break-even inflation rate and the 5-year as well. It's not that what is happening inside the economy is forcing inflation up like this. It's actually retreating at the moment. The transportation indexes can give us a bit of an understanding on the underlying health of the economic system. But as we become more and more digital, as the omniverse and metaverse actually take over, transportation may not be such a predictor of economic activity. But we can certainly see that the airlines have been coming down. The airline index since the beginning of April, that's that white line there. We've had a little bit of a bounce, which is great, and we can see the other transport indexes have been selling off since the 7th of November, and they're just bouncing now. When people talk to you about Omicron, inflation, tapering, transport, I want to give you the background facts so you can have an informed decision without any of the hype. The question is, how is the Indian market reacting to the potential crypto ban and the introduction of the Indian central bank digital currency? I did a deep dive on that in episode 344. You can see the price of Bitcoin in the Indians' local currency, the rupee, has just flatlined since around the 30th of November, when the news was introduced that the Indian government wanted to ban crypto. We saw this incredible sell-off, and it was hitting news headlines all around the world. And what do we see now? It's just recovered and it's flatlining. It's not doing too badly. We've got a little bit of a reduction here, of course, with what is happening just throughout the world, but it's not too bad. We don't see that it's spiking up or spiking down anything more than normal market action. The debt ceiling was raised, and we'll have to talk about that on February the 18th. I covered the debt ceiling in episode 332. The last thing we need to look at is the Evergrande Chinese debt saga. I covered that in episode 321. Let's have a look at that. Always trade the chart that we view. Don't panic. Think like an institution. Institutions love buying things on sale. They don't want to pay recommended retail price, and they certainly don't want to pay above what they could get when prices sell down. They're always looking for a discount. Just be aware of the risks. Have an upside and a downside risk strategy in play at all times. Now let's have a look at Evergrande. Turning to the Wall Street Journal, China Evergrande requests help from the government as a debt crunch looms. What does this particular article say? We can see looking down that the Chinese authorities on Friday said that they would step in. Now what does this mean? We need to read the whole article. There's a working group sent by the Chinese government to oversee and improve the company's Evergrande's risk management and internal controls. China Central Bank said late Friday it was supportive of the Guangdong government's decision to step in. So everything looks good, doesn't it? But let's keep on reading. China's banking and securities regulators also said that they would work together to keep the broader property industry healthy. Of course, that is a really, really good thing. Evergrande on Friday said in a regulatory filing that it had received a $260 million demand to perform its obligations under a guarantee, and if it failed to honor guarantees it had given, some creditors could demand accelerated repayments of sums that they are owed. Evergrande, at the end of June, owed $300 billion in liabilities. $20 billion are offshore. The important thing to understand with Evergrande, they have US denominated debt, which is offshore bond obligations, and they've got their onshore obligations, their liabilities. I believe the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, will basically look at the US denominated debt and say, well, we're not paying that. And they'll look at the local market and prop it up, which is actually quite a good outcome. So how is the Chinese government dealing with the debt situation for offshore debt? The Chinese government, the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, said Friday that investors in the offshore bond market are relatively mature and sophisticated. Very nice of them to say that. And there is a clear legal framework for dealing with their issues. What does this actually mean? This is like Fed speak, isn't it? What it means is they're on their own. If they don't get paid, they can sue Evergrande and they won't get their money back in all probability. That's what it actually means. A spokesperson for the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission separately said in a statement that Evergrande's inability to fulfill its offshore debt obligations is an individual case in a market economy. What does that mean? Basically, the people that have put money into bonds with Evergrande, maybe they can expect 10 cents on the dollar, 5 cents, 1 cent on the dollar, but they're probably not going to get paid much. What the problem with Evergrande is not actually the payment of offshore debt. It's the shoring up of the local economy. Now, if the government didn't step in, if the CCP didn't step in and it let the property market just implode, that would actually bring down the Chinese economy. And when we look at the Chinese property market sentiment as measured through some of the larger real estate companies, there's 7 here. We can see Evergrande in blue. It's had a hammering in its price. Its price is way down. Had a bit of a kick up because Evergrande sold $347 million, or it raised $347 million, and that was then wiped out in the couple of days preceding. Now we can see that basically the Chinese property market is under extreme duress. It employs nearly 600,000 people, and its actual sales are $2.25 trillion, but it unfortunately has net debt of $1 trillion. It's very indebted. A lot of people just look at Evergrande's debt and they say, oh, that's the debt in the Chinese market. Not so. The debt in the Chinese market is well in excess of $1 trillion. and having the CCP step in and say, we're going to protect the local market. The international market, you're on your own. You can sue us, you can do whatever, you can try and recover, but good luck with that in all probability. But holding together the local real estate market is critically important. You might remember this particular part of the article about the $260 million demand. I'd like to thank Alex for sending me through Twitter this particular notification through the Hong Kong Exchange and Clearing Limited, basically the stock exchange of Hong Kong. This is where Evergrande, the chairman of the board, actually did a statement. What was he saying? There is no guarantee that the group will have sufficient funds. This was December the 3rd to continue to perform its financial obligations. It's actively engaged with offshore creditors to formulate a viable restructuring plan. And it talks about that $260 million. And if it's unable to pay it, it may lead to creditors demanding more acceleration of repayment. This is the source document. Thank you, Alex. So let's break up those funds and actually put them on a timeline. December the 3rd, Evergrande owes $41.93 million and also $40.56 million. And then on January 27th, it owes $50 million and $205 million approximately. Just please note that the founder of the Evergrande Group is worth about $6.8 billion. We'll need to keep our eye on this date, but what is happening in the market, if we look across, I think people have looked into the Evergrande issue and said, oh no, it's not going to pay, and therefore it's all over. And when we typically hear news out of China, it's never really of a positive nature. It tends to affect the markets in a negative manner, which is really unfortunate, but just the way it is. What are we seeing here? We've got a couple of days for this to play out until those particular payments are due. I would suggest not overreacting. It's really early days and it's not a lot of money in the scheme of things. We may get a bit of turbulence, but I believe it's a fantastic buying opportunity. Just always have your in advance probabilistic choices made. Know what you will do if things tank, if they drop like a brick. Know what you will do if things exponentially increase. The problem with retail investing and retail trading is that people generally have only one mindset. It must go up under all circumstances and it can never go down. We know price is always moving in a wave. It's always going up and down. It's just the nature of crypto. And crypto moves very violently up and down as well. We need to see the overall stock market health as well. We can see gold is down -3%. When economies are plunged into turmoil, gold rallies. That's something that you really keep your eye on. We can also see that the proxy for stocks, the S&P 500, is up 23% for the year, and Bitcoin is up 184%. So what is basically happening inside the US stock market? And why do we look at the US stock market? Why don't we look at another stock market? It's because the US stock market basically has over 50% of the entire money in the world in terms of stock markets in it. So we really have to follow the leader. We can see here, we talk about fear in a sec, we can see the NASDAQ 100 rallied up very strongly. It's coming back to an area of support. This is normal price action. But the unfortunate thing is so many news sources sensationalize everything and get people to freak out. They freak out all the time because the news sources want to do sensationalistic reporting. In the main, there are always good reporters, the 1% who just give the facts, but they're really rare because the facts don't sell. Crisis sells. When we look at this retracement, this is just a normal retracement in price, nothing to be concerned about at all. It's just coming down to a level of support and it's bouncing from support. We can also see that the VIX, the fear gauge, is going up, absolutely. And we can see the put-call ratio is also going up. I believe that the Evergrande news is being factored into the market. We can see light crude oil bouncing from support. The T-bonds, well, the bond prices are getting above a level of resistance. This is not a concern for us at the moment. When bond prices go up the wall, yes, that is a concern for us, but not now. What about the yields, bond yields? We can see the bond yields are just around a level of support, even though they've closed under it. We're not too hung up on this. Price moves around. That's just natural stuff. What happens next is really important. If the bond yields start to just plummet down, then we're going to be concerned. But we're not concerned at the moment. What about gold? Gold is a risk aversion asset, and people get into gold to hedge against all sorts of problems. We can see gold coming back to a level of support. We would expect it to bounce up. Absolutely. No drama with that. What about the DXY, the US dollar currency index? We can see that it's coming back to a level of support. It has a lot of upward price momentum in it. We do have to be on guard to a degree in the market, but we don't light switch. We don't go all in or all out. And just because there's negative news, there's always negative news. It's just normal. That's what markets are all about. And don't forget that the institutions spread negative news because they want to buy more cheaply. They want to buy what you're selling. That's Rule 393, buy and sell like an institution. When retail investors are heading for the door, fleeing in terms of panic, that's when we step in and say, yeah, we'll take what you want to get rid of at a discount. That's very nice of you. When retail is FOMOing in, that's when we get concerned. Think about it in opposite terms from retail investment. So many influencers talk from a retail perspective and they terrify their audience. If they spoke from an institutional perspective, they could actually be more of a financial blessing to themselves and those they love. On days like today, chaos zone analysis comes in really handy. These are the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zone 1 is the panic zone. So if you're feeling internal panic, that's absolutely fair. When people get into the market or get into new markets, this is very, very normal stuff. Every investor, all investors and traders progress through these particular stages, these zones. It's nothing to be concerned about, but you definitely want to get away from internal panic. Not being able to sleep at night is really bad for your health. Zone 2 is the blame zone. That's where the internal panic gets externalized and conflict and attacking others happens. Why does this happen? Zone 1 and Zone 2 are based on the concept that crypto should be absolutely certain. You should be able to put your money in and walk away and retire within a small amount of time and not have any downward price movement. Unfortunately, certainty never ever exists in any financial market, and especially inside crypto. It's all about probabilities. So Zone 3 is really important. That's probabilistic fearlessness. That's all about knowledge and forgiveness. Forgiveness not for other people, but for the fact that you went through panic, you went through blame, you went through sleepless nights. That's the tuition fee of the market. You're actually paying the fees. That's a good thing. You'll get to the other side of that. It's all about patience. It's all about rules. And the 10-5-10 volatility fund. This is a really, really vitally important concept. If you have a $10 crypto and it falls to $5 and you buy it there and then it just retraces back to $10, you just made 100% profit. Way to go, legend. That's what we're about. That is the institutional mindset. The retail mindset is buy it at $10, hoping and praying that it will go to 20. And natural price action is always moving in a wave. It's always up and down. We see magnificent retracements on some cryptos, 80-90% retracements. They're horrific, but it's really important to understand this is the reality of the crypto market. You can't have 10x gains without 95% drawdowns. Please understand that. Don't buy into the hype that a lot of people tell you. Zone 4 is the meaning zone. Meaning is incredibly important. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have good friends around you, if you don't have inner and outer peace, if you're always in conflict with other people, it's a really bad place to live. You want a beautiful life and you deserve it. What is the long-term prospects for crypto? What is actually happening? When we look at the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology, we can see that we're in the bull market segment. The bull market psychology is overwhelmingly positive, even though we have retracements like today, and we can have big ones. That's not important. That's all about the variability that is inherent in crypto. What we're seeing is we're coming into that level of support, and it doesn't have to bounce just from support. It can go down further. That is not a problem. Many people, when they get into financial markets, they religiously obey technical analysis and they get wrecked because of it. You have to use it as a guide, not a law. You have to know when to have a bit of variation in these rules. I see so many influencers post out on social media, it's all over, horror face, ghost face, all of these sort of things. It's just really boring. Why don't they tell people what is actually going on? It's just simply going to come into a level of support, and a level of support does wobble around a bit. It's not an exact science. We can see the relative strength is falling, but we do expect a bounce here. Yes, we've got some negative news. Absolutely, Evergrande may default in a couple of days on that debt. And if it does, fantastic. This is beautiful news for us. We're knife catchers. We go into the market and say, thank you very much. We'll have that. But why would we do that? Isn't that really dumb? Isn't that stupid? For example, don't the institutions, I mean them, the market, don't they say never catch a falling knife? The ultimate dollar cost averaging strategy is always get into the market when we have extreme fear, and we have extreme fear today. This is a fantastic time to get into the market. Look at that. If you got into the market when there is extreme fear, and we always talk about this, you would have actually, if we could go back in time, which of course we can't, but we can certainly look at when extreme fear plays into the market and if it is a good time to buy or not. Anytime you get a fearful pullback, it's fantastic. And the more fear, the better. You can see, for example, we had all of this price action. The orange line is Bitcoin's price, and the blue is the fear and greed index. What you can see, as more and more fear entered the market all the way down to here, Bitcoin's price leveled out. It got to $40,000. That's the time to buy. We always say the ultimate buying dollar cost averaging strategy is to buy the highest fear possible. And you see it play out again and again and again. It doesn't mean you'll time the exact bottom. You only know it's a bottom after the event, but it's a fantastic thing to do. And you can see just from here, it works, and it always works. Just go and check out the Crypto Fear and Greed Index for yourself. It's really, really valuable to know these lessons. When I look at a market like this, I'm excited. Look at all the bargains that we can slurp up. Fantastic. And we can also layer down from these prices and pick up even better bargains. It's just awesome. Today is sale day. I'd like to share an article about Nvidia's Omniverse, which is basically the rival to Facebook or Metaverse. What we're seeing here is the new economy developing, the Omniverse or the Metaverse. These are just two rival companies bashing it out together. Either name will be good and both will go forward in all probability. Is going to be a new economy This is going to be larger than our current economy. Actually, he anticipates it will surpass $84.7 trillion. Let's think about that for 1 second. The current global crypto market cap is 2.46 trillion. When the metaverse or omniverse creates $85 trillion a year, what do you think will happen to the crypto space? That's why I take you through the metaverse cryptos, because they're the engine of the new economy. What are we seeing here right now? Mana, Decentraland, has come down in price from about $6 to $3.72. What a bargain. This is fantastic. If you've got a long-term perspective and you understand what the omniverse, Nvidia, or the metaverse, Facebook/Meta, you can understand where things are heading. And of course, wow, what a long-term hold that will be. Axie Infinity, another one. Look, it's consolidating. Very nice. Better price action than Mana at the moment. We can also see Engine Coin. Engine Coin, very good price behavior here, coming into a level of consolidation. That's a support level. That means it will catch price. When we look at SLP, what is happening to SLP? It just loves to go down. This is why I always say invest, trade in strength, because when you have strength, things like sand happen. It tends to go up. It can get you out of a bad trade. And don't forget, bad trades are going to happen. It's all about probabilities. There is no certainty, but you can absolutely manage your risk. Let's look at sand. It's coming back from around $9 to $5.70. So many people were just doubling their investments as it skyrocketed up, expecting that it will go on forever. It never does. It always retraces. That's where having the trading mindset will really help you out. ILV, we can see ILV is under support, coming into a level of support here, but there are further levels below that it could fall to. If it does, fantastic. You know where the metaverse is going. You always want those good fundamentals. Alice coming into a level of support, and CHR just retracing, quite under resistance at the moment. Before we get into the community favorites, just have a look at the top cryptos. Bitcoin, we see that sell off, but it's catching itself. What about Ethereum? You can see the big reduction in Ethereum that happened. But of course, this price action will capture that sell off. That's what happens. Cardano erased its gains over the past couple of days. What a shame. Binance Coin selling down. XRP still under resistance. Doge significantly under resistance. When we see DOT was getting above but has been hit. What is happening here? You know it. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. This is the way. That's why we must look at Bitcoin to understand what will happen to your beloved alts. Turning lastly to the community favorites, we can see Veracity under resistance, as is Icon coming back to a level of support around the 152 mark. We can see Theta token cradling, nice. We can see IOTA doing well. That's cradling as well. That's what we want to see. We want to try and get it on a move early before it takes off like this. We want to be down here. That's the professional trader's mindset. And when you combine investing and trading, because all investors become traders whenever they buy or sell, we can see Matic just bouncing off that support line. Algo just under its support line. It's under resistance at the moment, but only just. AVAX under resistance. And Cartesi looking really good. Look at that beautiful support line. It's absolutely honoring it. Nice. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. I'd like to especially thank Rudy, thank you, my friend. Very nice. Ken, I just wanted to tell you I really had great fun playing with your 10-5-10 rule and filling Bitcoin charts full of arrows. I think that your advice is priceless. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Al and Nick and Crypto No Stress, for your very beautiful comments. There's always comments underneath these private ones, and I just want to thank you so much for that. Oh, Crypto Turtle. Little Crypto Turtle is so awesome. Crypto Turtle, thank you, Ken, for your energy and kindness. I'm sure the community knew how lucky we are to have you as a teacher. Thanks so much, Crypto Turtle. The 11th of December is coming for the masterclass. I'll talk about that in a tick. I am ready to go back to uni again to take on my new opportunity. Woohoo! Go Crypto Turtle! I am sure you have a lot to teach us, as I learn something new in every episode on the free channel. I definitely do. I was just thinking, so many of the videos that I'm putting together for the masterclass, they will create life-changing wealth. Just a couple of videos looking at that will just be a game changer, and I've got plenty to share with you. Basically all of the methods that I apply myself when I look, and those methods I've actually developed myself. So many training courses out there are just simply rebranded Forex or stock market training. They don't apply to the crypto market. They actually wreck people. P.S. Please bring more celebrities to the channel. I will, Crypto Turtle. Andre, thank you for the work that you're sharing. Look forward to the masterclass. Very nice, everyone. Thanks so much. Every month I post out a special video to the Coffee Club people, just as my way of saying thank you for their generosity. You can access it by logging in and then just clicking posts. Please let me know if you have any problem with that, and I'll help out. I'm very busy putting the masterclass content, the videos together. It will be done by video, and when I say it's a masterclass, it literally is a game changer. You will pick up techniques and tools and capabilities that will allow you to master the crypto market in a way no other training can do. I'm really happy with the content that I'm putting together to share, and many of the things that I put together have never been seen in public before. I come from a very inventive family, and you'll see so many inventions in there. It just looks at the crypto market in a completely different way. For example, the KS model was introduced to show how the different psychology plays. KS Zone was all about helping people understand where they're at. Before those tools, people would just look and say, I'm not sure where I'm at, I'm not sure what this is doing, but everything that I do is to try to create clarity. You'll find so many new tools and techniques. I've been really busy getting back to people who have emailed me to lock in their substantial masterclass discount. Just please email me at ken@kenstanfield.com. Stanfield has 2 D's in it. The middle D is silent, so that grabs a lot of people. And just apologies for any delays in responding. And if you haven't been responded to in quite a while, please just let me know. Gentle reminders are always appreciated. I'm literally devoting every waking second to putting content together for you 7 days a week for that masterclass. You will find it just fantastic. I'm loving what I've done for you. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. The secret word for today is excitement. I'm hoping that you're looking at this market right now and you are excited like a kid at Christmas, seeing all these unbelievable, fantastic bargains. Please let me know in the comments on YouTube if you got this far. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.